High above the clouds, giant floating cities moved slowly across the sky. These cities were bright, clean, and full of rich people. They were called skylands. Below them, on the ground, were the old cities, full of dust, broken machines, and poor people. These cities were forgotten by the world above. Raffi was one of the people who lived down there. He was a hover taxi driver in Lower City 7. Every morning, he would wake up before sunrise, clean his small yellow hover taxi, and drive people from one place to another. He didn't earn much, but he was honest and worked hard. Raffi lived alone in a one-room home, ate simple food, and saved every coin he could. One day, as the red sun was rising and the streets were still empty, Raffi drove through an old road. Near the edge of the city, this area was silent. No people, no lights, just broken walls and old towers. He liked to take this path because it was peaceful. As he turned a corner near a crumbling wall, he saw something strange. There was a girl lying on the ground. Raffi quickly stopped his hover taxi. He jumped out and ran to her. She looked young, maybe around 20. Her clothes were shining softly with silver blue light. Her skin was pale and her eyes were closed. Her hands were cold and her breathing was slow. Raffi was shocked. He looked around, but there was no one else. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked gently, shaking her shoulder. She didn't answer. Her head moved slightly, and then she whispered one soft word, "Skyland." Then she fainted again. Raffi didn't know what to do, but he knew one thing. He couldn't leave her there. He carefully lifted her and placed her in the back seat of his taxi. He covered her with his own old jacket and started the engine. The taxi rose slowly, hovering above the ground, and moved forward. There was only one clinic open this early, the old city health station. It was small, but the doctor there, an old woman named Dr. Halima, was kind. Raffi reached the clinic in 10 minutes. He carried the girl inside. Dr. Halima looked at the girl with surprise. "Where did you find her?" she asked. "Near the edge wall," Raffi said. "She fainted. I think she's from the Sky City." Dr. Halima raised her eyebrows. "Skyland? Are you sure?" She said that word before fainting. Dr. Halima examined the girl. Her body shows no harm. No injuries. But she's very weak. Maybe low energy or shock. Her dress is high-grade fiber. Something only the rich wear. Raffi nodded. "Should we inform the police?" Dr. Halima shook her head. "No need yet. Let her wake up first. If she's from Skyland, police will cause trouble. We don't know her story." Raffi sat on the bench outside the room. He looked at the street through the glass. The city was waking up, people walking, machines buzzing, voices rising. But his mind stayed with the girl. Who was she? Why was she here? Did she fall, or did she escape? Hours passed. Dr. Halima gave the girl fluids and some light medicine. Raffi waited patiently. He didn't go back to work that day. In the evening, the girl finally opened her eyes. She sat up slowly and looked around. Her eyes were light brown, full of fear and confusion. Dr. Halima smiled. "You're safe. You fainted this morning. This man brought you here." The girl looked at Raffi. For a moment, she said nothing. Then softly she said, "Thank you." "What's your name?" Dr. Halima asked kindly. "Zuni." "That's a beautiful name," Raffi said, trying to make her feel comfortable. Zuni looked down. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause trouble." "You didn't," Raffi said. "But are you from Skyland?" Zuni looked at him. Her lips trembled. She nodded slowly. "Yes. But please, don't tell anyone." Dr. Halima gave Raffi a look. They both understood that something was wrong. "You're safe here," Raffi said gently. "You don't have to talk if you don't want to." Zuni gave a weak smile. "Thank you." As the sun set, Dr. Halima asked Zuni to rest for the night at the clinic, but Zuni shook her head. "No, they'll find me here. I need to hide. Raffi stood up. You can come to my place. It's small but safe. No one will find you. Zuni looked at him, surprised. Why would you help me? Raffi smiled. Because someone needs help, that's enough. That night, Raffi drove Zuni to his home. It was a small one-room space above a food shop. There was only one bed, so Raffi gave it to her and slept on the floor. He made tea for her, gave her a clean blanket, and kept his old fan running so she could sleep well. As Zuni lay there, watching the dusty ceiling and listening to the hum of machines outside, she felt something strange. In Skyland, she had everything. Gold walls, soft beds, robot helpers. But in this small, dusty room, she felt safe. And for the first time in many weeks, Zuni slept peacefully. The morning light entered Raffi's small room through the thin curtain. The sound of flying bikes and street vendors filled the air as Lower City 7 came to life. Raffi was already awake. He had made tea and some warm flatbread with lentils. He placed the food on the small table and waited for Zuni to wake up. After a few minutes, Zuni opened her eyes. For a moment, she looked confused. Then she remembered where she was. The dusty ceiling, the humming fan, and the smell of tea reminded her she was no longer in Skyland. Raffi smiled. Good morning, I made breakfast. Zuni sat up slowly. Thank you. Again. You're welcome, Raffi said. Eat something. You need energy. She looked at the food and smiled softly. This smells better than Skyland food. Raffi laughed. Really? Zuni nodded. In Skyland, everything is made by machines. The food looks perfect, but it has no soul. This feels real. They both sat down and ate quietly. Zuni looked around the room. It was small and simple. A bed, one chair, a table, and a small fan. But it was clean and warm. Do you live here alone? Zuni asked. Yes, Raffi replied. My parents passed away 5 years ago. I drive my taxi and try to live a good life. Zuni lowered her eyes. I'm sorry. It's okay, he said. What about you? Why were you on the ground level? Zuni took a deep breath. It's a long story. I have time, Raffi said gently. Zuni looked out the window. My name is Zuni Rayhan. My father is Master Rayhan, the head of Skyland's Energy Council. Raffi blinked. He had heard of Master Rayhan, a powerful man. One of the richest people in the floating cities. I ran away, Zuni continued. I didn't want the life they planned for me. My father wanted me to marry a business partner's son. A person I didn't love. I was just a piece in their plan. Raffi listened quietly. I escaped using one of the maintenance pods. I thought I would just come down, hide for a few days, and then figure things out. But something went wrong with the pod. It crashed. I hit my head and fainted. That's when you found me. Raffi nodded. That's why your clothes look strange. They're made of smart fabric. Yes, Zuni said. Skyland clothes adjust to body temperature and clean themselves. But now I'm stuck here. And soon, someone will come looking for me. Are they dangerous? Raffi asked. Zuni hesitated. Not exactly. But they won't care what I want. They'll just take me back. Raffi leaned back. So what do you want to do now? Zuni looked surprised. You're not afraid? I am, Raffi said honestly. But I believe in doing the right thing. If you need help, I will help. Zuni smiled. You're a good man, Raffi. Just then, a soft buzzing sound came from the window. Raffi got up and looked outside. A small black drone hovered in the air, scanning buildings with a red light. It had the Skyland logo on its side. A silver sun with wings. Zuni's eyes widened. They're searching. Raffi quickly pulled the curtain. Stay away from windows. What do we do? She asked. I'll think of something. But first, you need to change clothes. That glowing dress will get us noticed. Raffi gave her one of his older shirts and a scarf. Suni smiled as she wrapped the scarf around her head. Do I look like a ground dweller now? She asked. Raffi chuckled. Almost. You just need to stop walking like a sky princess. Zuni laughed for the first time in days. After changing, Raffi took her to a nearby marketplace. It was loud, crowded, and full of colors. Suni stayed close to him, trying not to look surprised at the broken robots, street musicians, and food stalls. This place is different, she whispered. Raffi nodded. It's not perfect. But the people here are real. They laugh, they cry, and they fight for a better life. They went to an old electronic shop run by a kind man named Uncle Navid. He was Raffi's father's friend. Need something? Uncle Navid asked. I need a signal blocker, Raffi said quietly. A small one. Uncle Navid raised an eyebrow. Why? I'll explain later. It's important. Uncle Navid gave Raffi a small round device. It hides low-level signals like ID chips. But it won't stop Skyland drones for long. It'll do, Raffi said. They returned home just as the sun was going down. Raffi placed the signal blocker near the window and turned it on. A soft blue glow spread across the room. You're safe for now, he told Zuni. Zuni sat down on the bed. I never thought life down here would feel so free, Raffi smiled. It's not easy, but yes, it's free. That night, Zuni helped Raffi cook rice and lentils. She had never used a real fire before. Her hands were clumsy, but her face glowed with joy. As they ate, Raffi asked, Do you miss Skyland? Zuni was quiet for a moment. I miss my mother. She died when I was 10. After that, Skyland became cold. Everyone cares about money and control. No one listens to their hearts, Raffi nodded. That's why I never wanted to go up there. You wouldn't like it, Zuni agreed. You belong here. But not as a poor driver. You deserve better. I don't mind being poor, Raffi said. As long as I can help someone, it's a rich life. Zuni looked at him. Her eyes were soft. You've already helped me more than anyone ever has. Raffi looked away shyly. It's nothing. But deep inside, both of them felt something new. A bond, soft but strong, was forming. The next few days passed quietly. Zuni stayed hidden in Raffi's small home. She helped him cook, clean, and sometimes even watched from the window as people moved through the dusty streets. Every morning, Raffi went out to work with his hover taxi and returned by sunset with food and news. They talked often about life, dreams, the stars, and the sky. Zuni began to smile more, but deep inside, Raffi knew things wouldn't stay peaceful for long. One evening, as the sun dipped low behind the broken buildings, Raffi returned home and found Zuni sitting with a piece of paper. She had drawn something using his old pen, a map. What's this? Raffi asked, placing bread and vegetables on the table. Zuni looked up. It's the old Skyland access point. It's broken now, but it was used many years ago to send machines. Between the ground and Skyland, Raffi sat beside her. Why are you drawing this? Zuni looked serious. Because I need to decide what to do. I can't hide forever. Raffi stayed silent. He knew she was right. I'm not just the daughter of a rich man, Zuni continued. My father is working on something dangerous. I was part of it too, until I saw the truth. What is it? Raffi asked. Zuni took a deep breath. Skyland runs on solar energy and crystal cores. But the energy levels are going down. People above are afraid. So they started a secret project to build machines that would take energy from the ground cities. Raffi frowned. But people here already have so little. Yes, Zuni said. That's why I left. I saw the early tests. The machines were draining water, power, and even plant life. If they finish the system, your city will become dry, dead, and empty. Raffi's hands clenched. And no one down here knows? No, they think Skyland has forgotten them. But the truth is, Skyland wants to use them. Raffi stood up and walked to the window. The streets below looked peaceful, but now he saw them differently. We have to stop it, Zuni nodded. That's why I came down. I wanted to find someone who could help, someone brave, someone kind, and I found you. Raffi turned around. Slowly, their eyes met. He felt something heavy in his chest, not fear but purpose. What do we do now? He asked. Zuni pointed to the old map. There's a secret server room in an old Skyland research center below ground sector 3. If we can get inside, I can access their system and send proof to all city networks, ground and sky both. Once people know the truth, maybe they'll stop it. Isn't it dangerous? Raffi asked. Yes, she replied. But if we don't try, many people will suffer. Raffi gave a small smile. Then we try. The next day, Raffi prepared his taxi. He cleaned the engine, checked the signal blocker, and added a cover on the windows. Zuni wore a dark brown cloak and scarf to hide her face. By evening, they were ready. They flew low, keeping away from the main skyways. The streets of ground sector 3 were older, even more broken than Raffi's neighborhood. Strange lights flickered on cracked buildings. Some robots walked without purpose. The air smelled of rust. There, Zuni said, pointing to a building, half buried in the ground. That's the place. Raffi parked the taxi behind a wall. They moved quietly through the shadows. Zuni touched a panel on the building's side. It glowed softly. It still has power, she whispered. She entered a long code. The old door opened with a soft hiss. Inside, the building was cold and dark. Dust covered everything. But the machines were still there, tall servers, blinking. Lights and glowing tubes. Zuni walked to one of the machines and pulled out a small device. She connected it and began typing. Raffi watched the door. Suddenly, a soft alarm beeped. What is it? Raffi asked. Someone noticed the system change, Zuni said. I have 2 minutes. She typed faster. Lines of data filled the screen. Then a red warning light blinked. Drones are coming, she said quickly. But I've sent the message. It's going to every screen in Skyland and the ground cities. The truth is out. Outside, the sound of drone wings grew louder. Come on. Raffi shouted. They ran back through the hallway. Behind them, lights flashed. 2 silver drones entered through the roof, firing nets of light. One net hit the wall near Raffi, burning a hole. Zuni grabbed his hand. This way. They reached the taxi and jumped inside. Raffi started the engine. The taxi rose and zipped forward just as a net hit the ground behind them. I hope your flying is as good as your cooking, Zuni said, breathing fast. Better. Raffi smiled. He flew fast, twisting between buildings, dodging drone lights. After a few minutes, they lost the drones and reached a quiet tunnel under the old bridge. They stopped to rest. Zuni leaned back. We did it. Raffi looked at her. You risked everything. Zuni smiled. So did you. He looked out through the window. Somewhere in the distance, screens were showing the truth. People in Skyland and the ground would see the message. They would know what was coming, and maybe they would fight together to stop it. As silence filled the tunnel, Zuni rested her head on Raffi's shoulder. Thank you, she whispered. He looked at her gently. For what? He asked. For being the kind of person I believed still existed. The video Zuni sent out traveled faster than anyone expected. All across the ground cities, public screens lit up with her message. In Skyland, giant walls that showed weather and ads now showed Zuni's face and the truth behind the secret energy project. People in both worlds were shocked. Some believed her immediately. Others called it fake news. But one thing was clear. Someone had exposed the truth, and that someone was Master Rayhan's daughter. Within hours, Skyland Security Command started their operation. They sent drones, bots, and trackers to search the ground cities. The mission was simple: Bring Zuni back, dead or alive. In the dark tunnel under the bridge, Raffi and Zuni rested for a while. The air was cold, and their clothes were dusty. But they both felt something powerful, the feeling of doing the right thing. We should move again, Raffi said, standing up and checking his hover taxi. Zuni nodded. They'll come for us. Raffi looked at her. Are you scared? Zuni thought for a moment, then smiled gently. Not anymore. They jumped into the hover taxi and flew off through the city's old air paths, staying low and close to abandoned buildings. Raffi knew the area well. He had driven on these paths many times. He used back roads and side tunnels to avoid Skyline scanners, but danger was getting closer. Meanwhile, far above in Skyline, Master Rehan stood in his tall glass office, watching the chaos below. His assistant, a thin man named Parvez, entered the room. Sir, Parvez said, we have found traces of the message. It came from ground sector 3. Our drones tracked the signal to an old server room. And Zuni? Master Rehan asked coldly. Escaped. With the taxi driver. His name is Raffi, no family, no criminal record. Just a poor worker. Master Rehan's face darkened. He has my daughter and my secrets. That boy must be found. Yes. Sir, we've already sent hunter bots. Master Rehan turned to the window, looking down at the clouds below. She thinks she can hide. She will learn. Down in the city, Raffi and Zuni reached a hidden part of Lower City 9. It was an old zone, mostly abandoned, where no one lived anymore. Buildings were cracked, and plants had grown through the concrete. It was quiet, the kind of quiet that made you listen more closely. Raffi parked the taxi inside an old warehouse. He turned off the engine and the signal blocker. We'll rest here for a bit, he said. Zuni stepped out and looked around. It's peaceful here. Yes, Raffi replied. No cameras, no drones, no noise, just time. They sat down on the broken steps outside the warehouse. Zuni took a deep breath. Thank you, Raffi, for everything. You don't have to. Thank me, he said. I did what anyone should do. No, Zuni said, shaking her head. Most people wouldn't. But you did. You risked your life for me. Raffi looked at her. I didn't just do it for you. I did it for all of us. Zuni smiled. That's what makes you different. Just then, a soft sound came from above, a faint hum. Raffi stood up quickly. Get inside, now. Zuni ran back into the warehouse. Raffi followed and closed the door quietly. He looked through a small hole in the wall. 2 black hunter bots were flying slowly across the sky. They had long arms, red scanners, and sharp wings. These were no ordinary drones. They were fast, smart, and dangerous. They're close, Raffi whispered. Zuni pulled out her small scanner and turned it on. They've locked onto our last signal. They're sweeping the whole area. Raffi grabbed a toolkit from his taxi. We can't stay here. There's an old tunnel nearby, Zuni said quickly. It connects to the water pipes. If we get inside, the scanners can't find us, Raffi nodded. Show me. They pushed open a side door of the warehouse and ran through the alley behind it. Weeds and broken glass crunched under their feet. Zuni stopped near an old water unit and pulled up a rusty cover. This way, she said. They climbed down into the tunnel. It was dark, wet, and smelled old. But it was wide enough to walk, and it led them deeper into the heart of the city. Above them, the hunter bots scanned the area, but the signal had disappeared. They circled once, then flew off to search another zone. Deep underground, Raffi and Zuni walked quietly through the tunnel. Water dripped from the ceiling. Pipes ran along the walls. Strange insects crawled across the floor. But both of them kept going. After a while, Zuni stopped. There's a place ahead where we can stay for the night. It used to be a storage room for city workers. No one uses it now. They reached the room, small but dry. Raffi checked the area. and set up a small camp using cloth and lights from his bag. Suni used a mini cooker to make warm soup. As they sat down to eat, Raffi looked at her. "You were brave today," Zuni laughed. "I was terrified." "You didn't show it," he said. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Raffi said softly, "You know, I used to look up at Skyland and think it was heaven. A place where everyone was happy. And I used to look down and think the same about here," Zuni replied. They both smiled. "I guess the truth is, no place is perfect," Raffi said. "But people can be," Zuni whispered. "At least a few of them." As the lights dimmed and the soup warmed their hands, both of them felt the bond between them growing stronger. Outside, the city above was hunting, but in that small underground room, hope was alive. Soft lights from Zuni's mini-lamp flickered gently. Outside, the tunnel was cold and silent, but inside the room, there was warmth. A simple warmth that came not from machines, but from kindness, courage, and something new growing between. Two different souls. Zuni sat beside Raffi, wrapped in a blanket. Her eyes were tired but calm. "It feels strange," she said, her voice soft, "even though we're hiding. I feel more free than I ever did up in Skyland." Raffi nodded slowly. "Maybe freedom isn't about where you live. It's about the life you choose." Zuni looked at him and smiled. "You always say things that make me think," Raffi chuckled. "Maybe because I spend so much time alone in my taxi." They both laughed quietly. For a moment, they forgot the danger outside. The next morning, they woke early. Zuni checked her handheld scanner. "Skyland patrols are getting closer. We can't stay here much longer." Raffi packed their things. "Where do we go now?" Zuni looked thoughtful. "I think it's time we go public." "Public?" Raffi asked, surprised. "Yes," she said. "We've sent the message. Some people believe it, but many still don't. They think it's fake. If I show myself, if I speak to the people directly, it will make a difference. But it's dangerous," Raffi warned. "They'll come for you the moment they see your face." "I know," Zuni said, standing up. "But sometimes truth needs a face. If I hide, the story dies. If I speak, maybe the people will rise." Raffi looked at her, not as a rich girl, not as a Skylander, but as someone brave, someone real. "Then I'll be with you," he said. That evening, they reached Ruston Town, one of the biggest open marketplaces in the ground cities. People from many sectors came there to trade, eat, and gather news. It was loud, busy, and full of life. Zuni and Raffi walked among the crowd, dressed in old clothes, their faces half covered. They moved toward a high platform in the center. Once used for public speeches, now mostly ignored. Raffi climbed the platform first and tapped on the broken speaker panel. It still worked. He looked down at the crowd and spoke into the mic, his voice strong but calm. "Brothers and sisters, please listen for just a moment. There is something you need to see." People turned, curious. Raffi stepped aside. Zuni removed her scarf and walked forward. Gasps filled the air. A few people recognized her face from the video. Others just stared, unsure. She held the mic and spoke clearly. "My name is Zuni Rehan. I was born in Skyland. I am the daughter of Master Rehan, and I have come here to tell you the truth." She paused, letting the silence settle. "Skyland is stealing energy from the ground cities. They are planning to take more, to take your water, your land, your power. I saw it with my own eyes. That's why I ran away. That's why I'm here." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Some were shocked, some angry, some still doubtful. Zuni continued. "You may not trust me, I understand. But I ask you, look around. Your machines stop working. Your plants die faster. Your power cuts are longer. This is not an accident. This is a plan." Raffi stepped forward. "We can stop it, but only if we stand together. Skyland has more machines, more money, more drones, but we have something they don't: each other. The crowd grew louder. Then a loud whirring noise echoed through the sky. 3 Skyland drones appeared above the marketplace, scanning the crowd with red lights. Zuni held the mic tightly. I will not run anymore. I will stand here and face the truth. If they want to take me, let them, but they can't take the truth. Suddenly, something unexpected happened. An old man from the crowd stepped forward. He stood between Zuni and the drones. Then a woman in a red scarf stepped up beside him. Then a group of young workers. In a matter of seconds, dozens of people formed a human shield around the platform. The drones hovered uncertainly, scanning the crowd, but the people stood firm. No fear. Someone shouted, "She's one of us now." Yelled another. The drones recorded the scene, then flew off. They couldn't attack a crowd this large. Zuni looked at Raffi, her eyes full of emotion. "You did this," she whispered. "No," Raffi said softly. "We did this." Later that night, Zuni and Raffi hid in a small home offered by one of the locals. It was safer now. People across the ground cities were rising, sharing her message, protecting each other. But in Skyland, Master Rayhan was not happy. He watched the market video in silence, his hands folded tightly behind his back. "She has turned them," he said coldly. "My own daughter," Parvez nodded. "People are gathering. They want answers. We cannot hide the project anymore." "Then shut it down," Master Rayhan said. "Burn the proof, silence the leaders, and bring Zuni back alive. I want her to look me in the eyes when I end this rebellion." Parvez hesitated. "And the boy, Raffi?" Master Rayhan's eyes narrowed. "He is the spark. Without him, there is no fire. End him." Back in Ruston Town, Zuni sat by the window, watching the stars above. Raffi came and sat beside her. "Are you okay?" Zuni nodded. "Yes, but I worry for what's coming." "Whatever it is," Raffi said, "we'll face it together." She looked at him. "You've changed my life, Raffi. Before I met you, I only saw the world through glass. Now I feel the wind. I hear real laughter. I understand what matters." "And what matters?" Raffi asked. Zuni looked at him deeply. "People, not power. Not machines, just people." They sat in silence, side by side. 2 hearts from different worlds, now beating as one. But far away, dark plans were already being made. The next chapter would not be so peaceful. The next morning, the air in Ruston Town was tense. People were gathering in groups, whispering, sharing the video of Zuni's speech from the market. Her message had reached far and wide. Ground cities across the planet were talking. For the first time, the people below the sky believed they could stand up, but with hope came danger. In the sky above, Skyland was preparing for war. Master Rayhan had made his decision. If the ground cities would not be silent, they would be silenced. Raffi and Zuni woke early in the small home where they were hiding. The sound of people outside filled the air. Voices, footsteps, planning. Raffi looked out the window. "There are more people now. They've come to join us," Zuni said. "To stand for their homes, their water, their power." Raffi turned toward her. "But Skyland won't stay quiet," Zuni nodded. "They won't, my father. He won't stop until he gets what he wants." Raffi walked over and gently took her hand. "Then we give the people something stronger than fear." Zuni looked at him. "What's that?" "Unity," he said simply. By midday, over 1,000 people had gathered in Ruston Town's central field. Workers, farmers, traders, and young students, all ready to listen. Zuni stood in front of them on the same platform where she had spoken before. Raffi stood beside her. "We may not have flying machines," Zuni said, her voice strong, "but we have hands to build and hearts to fight for what's right." The crowd cheered. "We may not have crystal weapons or tall towers," Raffi added, "but we have truth. And truth is louder than machines." Cheers rose again. Just then, a small girl ran up to the stage, holding a radio device. Her face was full of fear. "They're coming," she shouted. "Big airship from Skyland." The crowd fell silent. Zuni took the radio and listened. It was true. Skyland had launched skyships, large silver air vehicles with blinking red lights. They were heading straight toward Ruston Town. People began to panic. "They're going to destroy the town. We should hide, run." But Zuni raised her hand. "Don't run." She shouted, "They want us to scatter. That makes us weak." Raffi stepped forward. "We stay together. We show them that we are not afraid." People looked at one another. Slowly, fear turned into fire, not of destruction, but of courage. "We won't hide," someone shouted. "We'll protect our homes," said another. The people began to move. They formed groups. They pulled out tools, shields made from metal, sheets, old drones, and whatever machines they could find. Some ran to fix broken power fences. Others dug trenches to protect the town's border. Raffi helped organize the people. Zuni gave clear instructions through the radio. By the time the sun began to set, Ruston Town had become a wall of resistance. From the sky, Master Rayhan's ship looked down at the growing movement. His face was calm but cold. Beside him stood Parvez. "Sir, the town is resisting. They've built barriers. We may face damage if we attack directly." Master Rayhan narrowed his eyes. "I don't want resistance. I want silence." Parvez hesitated. "But your daughter is among them." Master Rayhan's voice turned sharp. "Then she has chosen her side. Begin the operation." The ships moved lower. Back in Ruston Town, night had fallen. The only lights came from lanterns, battery lamps, and the glow of hope in people's eyes. Raffi stood with a group of workers at the town's main gate. Zuni moved among the people, encouraging them, hugging children, calming mothers. Suddenly, the sky turned red. Large skyships appeared overhead, their engines roaring. Powerful lights fell upon the town. A robotic voice echoed from the sky. "This is Skyland Security. Surrender the traitor, Zuni Rayhan, and no harm will come to the town." Number 1 moved. Zuni stood in the center of the field. "I am here," she shouted toward the sky. "But I am not a traitor. I am a daughter of truth." The ships hovered. Then the voice returned. "Last warning, hand her over." Raffi stepped beside her. "She's not alone." Then one by one, people stepped forward. "I stand with her. She's one of us. Touch her, and you face all of us." Master Rayhan, watching from the ship's control screen, clenched his fists. "They think she's a hero." Parvez turned slowly. "Perhaps she is. What did you say?" Master Rayhan asked. Parvez took a deep breath. "I served you for years, followed every order. But maybe, just maybe, the girl is right. We are taking too much, giving nothing back." Master Rayhan's face turned red. "You're fired. Leave the ship." Parvez stepped back and walked away, his heart heavy. But down below, the skyships moved lower. A warning blast hit the ground near the edge of the town. Dust flew into the air. People screamed, but no one ran. Raffi held Zuni's hand tightly. "Whatever happens now, we face it together." Zuni nodded, her eyes filled with tears. "You changed me, Raffi. You gave me courage." "No," he whispered. "You had it all along." Suddenly, a loud beep came from one of the town's old towers. Zuni's radio buzzed. It was a message from other cities. Ground cities 2, 4, 5, and 6 had also risen. People everywhere were standing up. They were blocking energy drains, cutting Skyland lines, marching in peace. The ground was no longer silent. Zuni took the mic one last time. Her voice echoed across the town. "Master Rayhan, if you can hear me, this is your daughter. We are not your enemies. We are your people. If you stop now, we can still build a future together. But if you destroy us, you destroy everything." There was silence. The skyships hovered. Then slowly, one by one, they began to rise again. They didn't attack. They turned away. The people cheered. Children danced. Old women wept. And Zuni fell into Rafi's arms. "You did it," Rafi said. "No," Zuni whispered. "We did it." Far above, in the quiet of his ship, Master Rihan sat alone. His daughter had become a voice he could no longer silence. And somewhere deep inside, for the first time in many years, he felt something strange. Not anger, but shame. The morning sun rose slowly over Ruston town, casting warm light on the faces of the people who had stood strong the night before. The battle had been won, not with weapons, but with courage, truth, and unity. Rafi and Zuni stood together on the platform in the town center. Around them, the crowd cheered quietly, tired but hopeful. Their voices had been heard. The ground cities had risen, and the Skylands had finally listened. Zuni looked at the crowd. "This is just the beginning," she said softly. "We have shown that people can change the future. We must work together, ground and sky, to build a better world." Rafi smiled and nodded. "We don't need to be divided. We need to help each other." People around them clapped and cheered. News of the peaceful victory spread quickly. Cities across the planet began to send messages of support. Even some leaders in Skyland spoke about change and fairness. High above, Master Rayhan watched from his office. His face was calm but tired. He looked at the screens showing the celebrations on the ground. For days, he had stayed silent, thinking. At last, he spoke to his people. "We were wrong to take without asking. We must repair the damage. We must listen to our people, all of them." His voice was broadcast across the Skylands and ground cities. Zuni and Rafi heard the message. It was not perfect, but it was a start. Next weeks were filled with work. Rafi continued to drive his hover taxi, but now people greeted him with smiles and respect. Zuni helped organize meetings between the leaders of Skyland and the ground cities. They worked to fix broken machines, restore clean water, and share energy fairly. One day, Zuni stood beside Rafi on a hill outside the city. They watched the floating cities move slowly above. "I never thought I would see this day," Zuni said. "A day when the sky and the ground are friends." Rafi smiled. "You made it happen." She looked at him and smiled back. "No, we made it happen. Together." Life was not easy. Many challenges remained. But the people had learned something important. Their strength was in unity. Zuni and Rafi became symbols of hope, proof that even from different worlds, people could come together and create change. And for the first time, the sky and the ground were not separate. They were one. As the sun set behind the horizon, Zuni took Rafi's hand. "Thank you," she said quietly. "For what?" Rafi asked. "For showing me that true power is kindness. That real wealth is in friendship and love." Rafi smiled. "I think we both found what we were missing." They looked up at the stars, shining brightly in the clear sky. And for the first time, they dreamed, not of escape, but of a future built together.